Very good afternoon and welcome to the Dome Disneyland for the men's 77 kilo championship of the world in pretty nice conditions actually outside today. Lots of sunshine, very pleasant for a November day, but absolutely full house here. Now, on stage now, this is Rasma Martin, who was the man who did best of all in the B group earlier today, totaled up 344 kilos. Now, based on the entry totals of everyone in the A group, he shouldn't trouble them, but you never know. Lots of red, lots of failures, and suddenly he could be creeping towards the top 10. There you can see the snatch lift from Rasman. He did 152, 156, and that was 158 to lead at the halfway stage in the B group. And he then subsequently went on to add 186 kilos for a total of 344. But as I said, shouldn't really trouble the finalists. So sit back and enjoy the action with myself, David Goldstrom, and alongside me as ever, Randy Strossen from Iron Mind. Very good afternoon, Randy.
Good afternoon, David.
Feeling good?
Oh yeah, this class is going to be rip-roaring, I think. I'm not sure we'll see world records, but I think it'll be tooth and nail, probably see totals in the 370-ish range.
Yeah, well, it's only got a 15 kilo spread between the lowest of the entry totals and the highest being up at 370 kilos. And this afternoon's competition, well, in this competition we have the Olympic champion, the world champion, the European champion, and also the world record holder for both the total and the snatch. We get underway right now with 150 kilos on the bar for the Cuban Ivan Camba Rodriguez. So Mr. Rodriguez to get us underway here. Well, that's not promising. The lights went out, the switch went off, and what a way to start a competition.
You know, what was most interesting to me about that, David, is he's rocking his toes up and down as if he's building up energy, nervous energy. Look at this, and then he pumps the hips to get that plyometric start for nothing. For nothing, it's not even a deadlift. Mind failed.
Better things to come, I'm sure of that. Big contingent from the Armenians in the arena, including the president of the Armenian Olympic Committee, and they're here to see Tikka Dan Martirosyan, Tikka Dan Martirosyan, one of the two brothers, who is the reigning world champion. But now for Egypt, this is Ibrahim Ramadan, bar still on 150 kilos for this 23-year-old. Whips it overhead, and that's good for me. Randy, what about you?
Oh yeah, looks to be tall for this class, very lean, quick. The snatch, pull the bar up, get your body under it, all done in less than 1 second.
Yeah, 7th in the World Championships last year for Antalya, and totaled up 345. Well, his ambition has gone up now because he's moved to 360, which puts him in that sort of second echelon in this competition, by which I mean if the front runners start to fail, then the bronze medal could be on, but he's got to make 6 out of 6. And so we come to the European champion, Semih Yaki from Turkey. Did a 347 total, made 5 out of 6 lifts in Kazan in cold April in Russia, or Tatarstan. And opening up on 150 here.
Won the title under quite controversial and colorful conditions, as I recall.
Yeah.
Remember that? That was quite a brouhaha at the referee's table. Anyway, he leaves this out front. We'll see it in slow motion. He's not really going to finish the pull. Can't really get under it. The bar's out front, body's behind it. No lift.
Yeah, it's brouhahas, as you say, that happened in Kazan, which have actually led to a very positive rule change that coaches are not allowed to approach the jury table. So, that's a fair old journey from Cuba. Let's hope he's going to start to make this count. Last saw him on a championship stage in Korea, in Goyang, when he was pretty good. I mean, finished 6th, 356, wasn't bad. Cubans with a decent contingent here.
This is not his day. Kind of a repeat now. He didn't quite go all the way to the extreme of looking at his hand and blaming it, but he's going toward that. Same thing once again, you know, pumping the toes up and down as if he's really getting ready to fire the switch in this thing, but no way. Watch. Another breakdown, gets the bar a little higher this time, but the thing is, he's scared to go under the bar, and that's why he's backing out. Just cannot get himself to go under the bar.
So 2 reds, 1 man very much under threat of going out of this competition in terms of getting a total, and well, let's hope the same is not the case for the Turk. Locking on, half a minute, no problem with time. Good, but he should be kicking himself for losing it on the first attempt. I mean, he's posted a total of 355. Well, with the Olympic champion putting 370 in there and the world champion putting 370, you know, he's got to actually have the afternoon of his life.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing a string of good lifts. I mean, it's been a little ragged here in between as far as successful lifts. This guy's got some pressure on him.
158 is the current leading snatch performance. That was from Mr. Martin, who you saw just at the beginning of our program, collect 158 kilos, so you can see where these guys are in relation to that. Now, make or break. He gets it, he can get a total. He misses, only the clean and jerk is left. You wouldn't have put your mortgage on that anyway, would you?
No, you know, at least he sort of went under the bar. I think it looks a little listless. I'm not sure if you agree, but you know, he pulls up and he goes down, but it's not like he was really working to stick that lift.
Talking about listless, here's an interesting thing which I didn't pick up and none of us really got found out till after the event yesterday. But Oksana Slivenko a week ago was 8 kilos overweight. And what she said in her interview with our colleague from NTV Plus Russia was that, you know, she felt really out of energy, which is pretty logical if you've got to get rid of that amount of weight. And, you know, to take 8 kilos off in a week, I mean, that doesn't suggest great preparation, does it?
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised they would let her weight get that far ahead of her. I would think, I'm not a coach, but I would think 3, maybe 4 kilos at most.
Albania. There are 2 Albanians, and this is Karimai, Erkan Karimai, bronze medalist in the European Championships last season. Coming out of 5 seconds. Loses it behind. Well, Randy, this man had a bit of a problem, you might remember, this year in Kazan, not in the snatch phase, but in the clean and jerk. Had 3 goes at 188 and got no clean and jerks and didn't get a total.
Right. Bangs the bar a little bit on his thighs when he's in the second pole position, and that's probably what made him lose that lift, because he created an arc and lost the bar behind him. Banged it forward and sent it in a semicircular path, and boom, lost it.
Well, the big guns in today's competition, there's no doubt where they are. It's the Chinese lifter Su Dayin, who's due to open up on 160, and also Martirosyan, the defending champion, on 165. Likewise for Liu Xiaoyuan, the snatch world record holder. But these men mustn't think about that. They mustn't act. Respect is one thing, over-respect is another. They've just got to go out there and do their job, put the weights on the bar and lift them overhead, and then what will be, will be. And as we've seen already throughout the first half of the championships, Randy, we've seen plenty of headliners who haven't lived up to their reputations.
Right, some new blood entering, you know, getting ready to make a splash, I think, in London.
Keremay looking for 358 as a total. That's a total he's never done. Best he's done was in the World Championships last year in Turkey when he collected 351, but not unreasonable to improve by 7 kilos over a year. Well, again, exactly for me, Randy, like the Turkish lifter, you know, kick up the backside. Why didn't you do that first time?
Very fast under the bar. Watch this guy if we see a replay.
But, you know, he's going after a weight that he's done a million times.
Whoosh. Just absolutely flashes under this weight.
Well, two men weighed in just inside the limits, and this is one of them. The very experienced Pole, Krzysztof Sramiak, 76 kilos 99, the same as Tikka Dan Martirosyan. Those are the two men at the top of the range. 27 years of age. A familiar figure on the major championship stages. Well, a little bit too much walking, but nonetheless it was necessary, and he secured the 3 white lights.
See the guy who used to have really long hair?
Yeah, you may be right.
Boy, he's really got to do a lot of walking on this 4-meter platform. He can use it all, and you don't really want to do this. He's walking forward to save the lift. Otherwise, he'd drop the bar in front of him.
Well, here's a man making his first debut on a major senior international stage. Pulaku Hisen of Albania, opening up on 153 kilos. This would put him into bronze medal position. Well, he all but got that.
Yeah, he looked pretty good coming off the platform. Watch his knees come in as he's pulling. Kind of surprised to see that on his opener. Let's see it here. Watch his knees. Yep, you can see him come in. By the time he gets a third attempt, they're probably going to be touching at that rate.
So rather too many setbacks. I'm looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 failed lifts at the moment, and it's early days, but 6 to 4 failures to good attempts.
It's been the story here so far, huh, this week, pretty much.
Now we go to Africa. There are 5 for Europe, 2 for Africa, 3 for Asia, and Cuba representing the Caribbean. And this is Ramsey Balloon from Tunisia, 22 years of age. Quite a decent junior, but he's just in that sort of junior under 23 zone. It's a zone where you can improve quite quickly, and that's good. 153, and that is 7 kilos up on what he lifted in the Junior Worlds in May of this year.
I like this lift. He had to do almost nothing as far as adjustment after the fact to keep this lift under control. Lifts the toes, pops the bar up, slams the feet down, bars overhead, he's not even a little step forward, just bringing the feet together, waiting for the down signal. Nice lift.
So now the rookie Albanian is only 18 years of age to try and get this second attempt, get a score on the board. Very good. One of the lighter men in the class at 76.37. What do you make of this?
Makes the correction in the knee. You can see those knees coming in. Once again, doesn't really matter. You don't get style points on this lift. Basic mechanics look good. Successful effort.
Warm-up room's actually worked out rather better than I thought it would. I was quite concerned, like a lot of people, Randy, when we first got here. It's not got a lot of space in it. They've tightly packed in the 12, and I was quite concerned, you know, there might be a lot of sort of bashing into each other, but fair play, it's actually worked out pretty well.
Yeah, you know, from your initial description, I expected to go in there and just, I don't have this sense of claustrophobia, but I don't know, I thought it seemed relatively spacious almost.
Yeah, and the good thing is that because we're in a sort of circus tent, the actual backstage, the light through the tent actually is giving a lot of, you know, it feels airy, which is great.
Right, it does. Yeah.
So, third attempt in double quick time, 1:53. This is a bit disappointing, I have to say. He lost that first attempt, but his limitations now leave him with only the option of going for 1:53. That's a worry for the European champion.
Especially when you don't make it. It would have been only a small step up, as you point out, but he didn't even get that.
Well, I hate to say it, but that 3:55 total, which he aspired to before this competition began, is looking ever more distant.
Yeah, and I think the Armenians are going to get their revenge for Kazan.
Yeah, we haven't got to the 160s yet when we're expecting to see Su of China and also Liu, who's gone up to 165, Martirosyan on 165 as well. Those are the big guns. And this is the Moldavian Alexandru Dudoglu. Now again, here's a man who has got to get a hoodoo out of his mind here. He got 158 in Kazan, but he didn't manage any of the 3 clean and jerk attempts, so he didn't get a total. So starting up 3 kilos inside his European Championship best lift of this year. Well, it's a long way from that, Randy.
Yeah.
It was rough.
You know, you really hate to see openers missed, and we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 missed openers so far, if I counted correctly. This should be a slam dunk, you know, the opener should be.
But traditionally, this is the phase where he struggles. If I go deeper back into the records, when he was a 69 kilo lifter in the World Championships in Koyang, he didn't total. In the Junior World Championships, he also failed 3 times on the snatch. So he's got to get through this part to actually engage in the battle proper. Now, Ramadan for Egypt. Ibrahim Ramadan. Second attempt, 5 kilo increase. Got to make these. My worry is that these guys are having so many failures here, Randy, that they're really gifting it to, you know, the big 3 guns to fight this out. You know, nobody's going to get sufficient kilos to be close enough if the top 3 perform as we expect.
Yeah, you know, generally in a class this big, you expect to have 2 subdivisions, but I think it's going to be 2 icebergs are really parting ways here rapidly. And the second tier, the guys who are lifting right now, they're going to be barely within sight, I think, of the top, the podium finishers tonight.
Well, I just have to remind you, once again, Rasma Martin, Romania, 158, leads the competition. No, we haven't got to there yet, and this is Dudoglu out again. Second attempt, 155.
Well, I'm going to steal your line. Why didn't he do that the first time?
Well, he's just made it 10 failures to 6 good attempts. So you can see where the percentage game is. You know, we're...
Boy, what a low position. Glutes almost touched the platform.
good thing about Dudoglu is that he's got that score, because that's exactly what I was saying. He had to get through this part to get that score, and then when he gets into the jerk phase, he can be up in the sort of 180s, high 170s. Kedimai with half a minute. So this for him is a 3 kilo increase. And once again, we're already looking at a man in the B group who could be as good as 4th in this particular half of the competition when the snatch rankings are finally resolved. I just shook my head there, Randy, in disbelief.
Yeah, you know, it's analogous to the situation that Yaxi was in, right? Missed his opener, has to take a little modest increase, 3 kilos, and then misses that too.
Might be the World Championships, but if I'm being brutally honest about it, it ain't world class yet.
No, it won't be. Won't be until we get to about, you know, the top 12 or so attempts.
Yeah.
I mean, it's world class, but they're not the guys who are going to place, in all likelihood.
It's interesting because when you look at the potential for medals in London 2012, these classes, the 69 last night, the 77, the 85 coming up tomorrow, I think there's a huge opportunity in there. That's a pity, because he actually has tried and he gets left on 150, which is a pity.
Yeah, I liked his first attempt. I was really hoping he could break this string of misses on the second, and he really took it on the teeth on the second attempt. This was a little closer, but still no left.
So I've got the world champion yet to start, and the world record holder and the Olympic champion. So hopefully plenty of good lifting to come very shortly. So Krzysztof Szramniak of Poland. Can he use all this experience to lead those who've started at least? This would only put him into 2nd place in the snatch because he's still 2 kilos short of the man in the B group. Oh, it's really catching out there tonight. This is...
You know, he got his opener. He had to chase the bar a little bit. I was hoping that maybe this attempt would have been smoother, would have been successful. It was neither. It was rougher and it was unsuccessful.
I mean, it's barely 50% of good lifts made so far.
This guy's a human anatomy chart. I saw him in the training hall a couple days ago. His back is just unbelievable.
Yeah, the Chinese the other Chinese man is on the other side. There he is. Ja Jin and Liu Xiaoyuan. And those two guys should be well up in the medals. Now, nobody else wants 156, so Szramniak's going to have to come out and follow himself.
I don't know. He's not looking like a man just brimming with confidence, is he there?
No. Well, nobody's looked brimming with confidence so far. Chinese who've been steadily going through their warm-up. Yes, 12-7. Randy was just counting up the reds on the board.
Well, I was actually counting how many attempts left, but yeah, the ratio's sort of reversed. It should be the other way.
Right, 45 seconds to put himself momentarily at least into the silver medal procession in the snatch. Oh dear.
If you want to make a weightlifting contest slow, uninteresting, almost to the point of painful, what you want to do is you want to have a bunch of people miss lifts one after another. And you can just kind of see the wind go out of everybody's sails. And The lifters are going to look like defeated men.
Yeah, but hey.
Now, look who's coming out.
Right, I was just about to say, everybody at home, don't desert us.
No.
Because the real show is about to begin.
Olympic champion.
Absolutely. Ja Jin of Korea, 26 years of age. He's posted one of the top totals at 370. He weighed in at 76.94. He's amongst the top 3 or 4 heaviest weight in the class here. Korea have got a terrific record of good performances in this particular weight class.
Yeah. Don't write him off. I'll make a prediction right now. Whatever position he's in, when it gets down toward the end of the night, they're going to say one clean and jerk. That'll take to win, and they're going to throw it on the bar for this guy, and he'll go out and he'll try to lift it. Pity he didn't get that overhead. You can see he just didn't quite lock it out. Someone is going to break this pattern, David. We know it, right? Hang in there, everybody.
Well, here is Ramsey Balloon from Tunisia, whose namesake almost, well, Ramsey Balloon had a really pretty horrible time in the B group. But here's the main man for Tunisia for tonight anyway. 76 kilos, 93 for the Tunisian. The 6th best in the junior world, but already we've seen a big improvement. A successful first attempt at 153. This is 4 kilos up for a new personal best.
So this would have been a personal record for him, huh?
Yeah, I mean, he's young, you know. I mean, he's, you know, you're looking, he's 22, and he's just, you know, moving through. And the first lift there, I mean, his previous best was 146 in a competition.
Yeah, I'm just sort of surprised that they'd be up that heavy for him, relatively speaking, in a second attempt. Obviously, he's a guy who came out confident, and he's trying to rouse the crowd. He expected to make that.
So the Olympic champion returns center stage. Didn't have a good time in Goyang on his own home stage in 2009. He only made 2 out of 6 lifts, and it cost him because he ended up in 4th place, and he missed out to the Chinese lifter who's in tonight's competition, Su, by body weight. That's much better.
Picture perfect. You know, but just a footnote on that, David, you know, he actually only totaled 1 kilo less than he did the year before when he won the Olympics. It's just that the Chinese lifter really turned up the heat. I mean, and what would have been a, you know, a medal lift, a medal performance in the Olympics, what it was basically, became a 4th place performance the next year at the World Championships.
And what's going to be interesting when we see the Chinese lifter, Su, is how he's going to approach and get on with everything, given that last season he bombed out twice in the World Championships and the Asian Games. So here's the Moldavian, Dudoglu, 157 on the bar. Just 2 kilos, but for me, this would be good, given his poor record of snatching. If you can get this, bit of a bonus.
Well, it would have been good, but he didn't.
No. Well, 1 out of 3 is very much on the money, but he is a better performer in the clean and jerk. So it's going to be the Tunisian to come back in now, and it's going to be Ramsey Balloon on 157. And still to start, Ja Jin of China, due to see him at 160. 165 for Tikka Dan Martirosyan, the defending champion. 165 for Liu Xiaoyuan, the world record holder in the snatch. Well, 8 seconds to go, and just extraordinary. Extraordinary, really just didn't fancy it. And that leaves him on 153. Timed out. Just completely went out of his head. So, have a look at this. Just walks away from it effectively. And the bar has gone up to 158 kilos for the Albanian. This is Pulaku Hisan, and 158 represents the weight collected by Rasma Martin of Romania in the B group. But if Hisan does this, he'll still only go into second place because of being the heavier man of the two. So this to go into silver on his third and final attempt. Never really got under the bar there, and that means that Rasma Martin of the B group for Romania stays in the lead. And now we start to really look at the main contenders. And it's going to be Su Dayin of China, weighed in at 76.80, so he's lighter than Martirosyan, who will start at 165, and he's Su Dayin, he is actually heavier than Liu Xiaoyuan, the Snatch world record holder, who actually also won this title with a total of 378 back in 2009 in Goyang. So Su to go first. Bronze medalist in the World Championships in 2009 when his teammate won it, but he only got 50% of his lifts in there. And as I said a few moments ago, in the Asian Games, very disappointing last year, didn't manage a total. He was all right in the first phase, the snatch, but he came unstuck both in the Asian Games and in the World Championships on the clean and jerk. At his best, you're looking at someone who can lift 165. He needs to be certainly there if he can be. Half a minute, you'll hear the buzzer. There it is. Now, that's a little bit more what we were looking for there from Su. Chinese very sweet on their chances here in this particular weight class. Very little adjustment with the feet. A lot of power, a lot of strength, very good speed. Look at him whiz that bar above his head. Less than a second from floor to above his shoulders, and 160 means he's in the gold medal position now. Rasma Martin from the B group drops to second. Currently in bronze is Ja Jin of Korea, the Olympic champion. And it's not going to be Su Dayin. There's the reigning champion, Tikka Dan Martirosyan. Not only the world champion, but the European champion last year. And about to, there is the president of the Armenian Olympic Committee. Full of expectation that Tigran can keep the title. And I can tell you there's an enormous Armenian flag. There it is. And really good pocket of support for the Armenians here. Half a minute, plenty of time. First attempt, 162. Won the world title last year with 173. That's a kilo short of the world record. Starting on for me, is a pretty modest 162 here. 3 kilos lower than he originally posted. Well, time will tell if that was just a very conservative lift to clear the throat and make sure that we get going. And very interesting to see what he puts the bar up to next time around. Martirosyan is not going to come out for 163. The customary thing is just to put a kilo on the bar, but it should be Liu Xiaoyuan at 165 by my reckoning to come out, and indeed it is. Liu Xiaoyuan, the snatch world record holder, the world champion in Goyang in 2009, to open his account. $20-kilo bar, those big red discs there, 25 kilos apiece. So, group of Chinese fans as well, so the Armenians have got competition. Absolutely excellent, best lift we've seen. $165, 76 kilos 45. Just a reminder, he's lighter than the Armenian at 76.45, and he's lighter than his teammate. So in that respect, he's got the edge. Really, feet just absolutely steadied, planted, no adjustment, confident of the weight. And now we go to Korea, the bar goes to 165. Now, this is only for second place. He's currently down in 5th place, but this would move the Olympic champion up into the medals, but only into second place because he's heavier than Liu of China. But he went away from the bar and never really got under it at all. And the 165 brings to an end. It leaves him on 157. And 166 is what Su would like here. And again, now the cat and mouse game begins between Su of China, Martirosyan of Armenia, and Liu of China. So all three men have got 2 cards apiece, and it's this man, Su, to put down the first challenge. 6-kilo increase for him. Nice and steady in that bottom position. Good drive up there and secures the 3 white lights from the judges. So from 3rd into 1st place. So although Martirosyan is lighter, he's decided just to take the 4-kilo increase to put him on to 166. So tabbing and keeping pace with Su of China. I can tell you that Liu has actually put the bar, or has proposed 170. So he's quite happy for his teammate and this man to lift out, so it seems, before he comes in for his second attempt. asked and answered. Martirosyan equal now with Su in terms of kilos lifted. He's now ahead of where he was in Europe last year, but he's still at 166, 7 kilos off his best performance in winning the world title. So where do we go now? 168 Su has asked for on the bar. Martirosyan has not yet declared, and it is 168. So Liu of China, who has 165 just waiting in the wings, he, the Snatch world record holder. I just wonder whether if the other two lift out and he gets 170, then will he have a go and try and get the Snatch world record increased, his own record, maybe put a kilo on and go for 175. That's the technical controller for the evening, the man from Israel, Shimon. Just making sure that everything is correct and in order before the lifters go on stage. Shimon Barak. Well, he doesn't get 168. He's still in the gold medal position, but the door is now open for Martirosyan to go and take the same weight and go into the lead and guarantee himself at least a silver medal. And that looks to be the name of the game. Martirosyan playing the long game, so to speak, in as much that needs to stay close as he can to the action and then try to power up in the second half of the competition, the clean and jerk, where he's going to go for like 200 kilos, but Liu can match him on that as well. So, bit of cat and mouse, but he needs to make this. He's got to assume that Liu will make 170 on his second attempt and could go even further away. But what he'll be hoping is that he can get this, and even if Liu gets the 170 on his second attempt, that's where he'll end up, and it'll only be 2 kilos adrift. At this moment, his destiny is in his own hands. After this lift, it all goes over to Liu. Well, you could see how rough it was there, and then his hips were behind, and he tried to duck walk to get back underneath it, but he couldn't do it. And that actually leaves Martirosyan 166. Now, he weighed in at 76.99, and that means that Su is leading at the moment on 166 with the lighter body weight. So the defending champion in a bit of trouble, and now could be in more trouble over the next 3 or 4 minutes if Liu can lift the 170 and then some. Liu, the Asian champion this season, so he's in good form. He, in that competition, only made 3 out of 6. He didn't have to push himself, but it was a really good warm-up competition for him. Went 160, 192 for 352. Today he's looking for 370 to take the title. And as I said a couple of years ago, 378 he won this championship with in Korea. So all is possible for him. Locks on the snatch with that wider grip, almost out to the extension of the body. Oh dear. So the world record holder ain't going to be going for any world records now. He's got to get this. If he gets it, he gets a 4-kilo pull and body weight over his nearest two rivals. He has 1 minute and 57 seconds in which to try again. Bit of a shock there. Don't think anybody was expecting that. I think they all expected him to lift 170. That world record, by the way, wasn't set last year in the World Championships. It was set in Goyang. In terms of clean and jerk, in Goyang, he lifted 204 to win the title last year in the World's 200. And Martirosyan had 200 as well, but he had much the better snatch last year, 173. Well, a minute to come back onto the stage so he can be as meticulous as he likes. Right, job to be done. So this for the lead, this for the gold in the snatch. Final lift of the first half. That's what champions are made of. Puts it right, uses that third attempt, wins the gold medal, goes 4 kilos clear, and China find themselves in gold and silver with the defending champion from Armenia in bronze at the halfway stage. Between the three of them, 4 kilos, but the body weight advantage also goes to this man. Millimeter perfect, good drive up, feet just slightly wider apart on this third attempt, but really good lift. So about 10 minutes now, a little bit less than that already to get ready for the clean and jerk. In fourth place, Rasma Martin from Romania from the B group, all the way up into fourth place on the ranking, as you'll see in a few moments. 158 he had, so he was some way off the 166 of the men in second and third, but nonetheless a competition certainly of two parts when we focus and concentrate on the clean and jerk. And for Martirosyan, the defending champion, work to do, as you can see. 2 out of 3 on 170, 4 kilo advantage there over Su. Also, likewise, over Martirosyan, who loses that silver medal because of the heavier body weight. Rasma Martin from the B group, 3 really good lifts to earn fourth place in the ranking, excellent. And the Olympic champion, only 5th. The world alike. Let's hope this second half really turns into a fierce battle.
Yeah, though I like the end, you know, of the snatch phase. I know there were misses, but to me they were dramatic misses and very different from each other.
So here we go, clean and jerk, first man out here, 184 kilos on the bar for this two-phase discipline, and the very experienced Polish lifter Szramiak to get us underway. The height of his powers, he'll do 190. I suppose he could get there from 184, it's not impossible.
Ustaw się sztywniej w pionie, Krzychu. Trzymaj!
Boy, not exactly easy. I mean, his face was matching the color of his singlet. You see that, holding that jerk?
Making me feel tired.
Yeah. You know, look, David, we got 3 guys out. Look at the scoreboard. 3 guys have pulled out.
Yep, and Alexandru Dudoglu of Moldavia and Ramsey Balloon of Tunisia, and Ivan Cambar Rodriguez of Cuba. We started with a field of 12. We're now down to 9. Very, very disappointing and very annoying in a way for somebody like Rasma Martin, who was 4th in the snatch rankings at the end of the half, because, to be honest, he's lost his chance to mix it with these guys and maybe do even better than he did in the first half in the B group earlier today, because he did a total of 344. And you had Rodriguez, who said he was going to do 357. And then after that, you had Dudoglu, who was looking for 360, which clearly he couldn't get near to. And then also Balul, who had posted 358.
Yeah, David, look at the scoreboard of the snatches. Okay, 36 attempts. There are only, I think, just over a dozen good lifts. I say, get rid of some of these guys who couldn't lift tonight, you know? Let's move this thing on. Does that sound brutal? Let's get to the guys who are going to lift the weights and the big weights.
Are you sort of suggesting that if you don't, if you're not within so many kilos of the leaders at the halfway stage, you're eliminated?
You know, I think that's actually a good idea. How's that sound from a TV point of view?
Well,
Survival of the fittest, it's dead wood. We don't need them. Sorry, guys.
Letters and emails to Mr. Randy Strossen of Iron Mind. Karimai, Albania. Long way back down, 11th place, 152 kilos, 18 kilos off the lead.
Okay, and here's, sorry, David, guy who had sort of the characteristic lifting performance of the first half, snatch phase, missed his opener, made his second attempt, missed his third attempt, so he's got 1 good lift out of 3. Comes out, what's he doing in the clean and jerk? Misses his opener. Coaches need to understand these guys are supposed to make these lifts.
Now, Yaki's got some ground to make up. The European champion, he only brought forward 150 kilos, down in 14th place.
Hard to believe that he won the European Championships, isn't it?
Yeah.
In Kazan earlier this year with this performance tonight.
Well, he did a 347 in Europe. Obviously, not all of the world talent is there. He doesn't have to fight China, Korea, etc., etc.
Right.
But, you know, so far, I have to say, disappointing.
Another miss, and you know, again, it's a weight that's below what was done in the B session.
Sort of limping off. One of the things you don't always get to know, because obviously you don't advertise it, pretty well everybody competing here this week, you know, what do we got? 700 athletes, something like that. The vast majority will have some sort of a niggle.
Yeah.
Because that's the name of the game.
That nature being an athlete, probably, huh?
Yeah. Well, I really can't bear it if he doesn't make this. You know, 3 retired, 1 didn't get a total, the other 2 didn't fancy it. Which is quite an indictment on a World Championship stage in an event which is a qualifying event for the London Olympic Games.
Maybe guys are just really trying hard. They're picking weights bigger than what they can actually lift. Well, he stuck that. He was inspired by your words, David. See, sometimes being, you know, tough love kind of, you know, works.
Yeah, maybe. But
he feels happy. Yeah, look at the smile on his face.
He feels happy because he's got a total. Question is...
No, I think he's swearing in Albanian as he's coming off.
Well, you would know.
Okay, slow motion, jumps back pretty noticeably in the clean.
Given that you lunch with most of the Albanian population in California.
Well, I had drinks with Piros, you know, former Albanian, a couple nights ago. Piros Dimas, that is.
Bet he was buying.
He was, actually. Insisted on paying. Fine with me.
Has he escaped with the Greek fortune then?
He's moving to the U.S. because he's concerned.
Yeah, well, sadly, that country could see a pretty large exodus.
Yeah. I don't know, you know, the bar is tilting way over to his left. His hand spacing is adjusted way over to his left. Let's see if it'll show up, and there's the limp that you picked up on the last attempt. Let's see if it'll show in the slow motion. Look at his hand position on the bar, both when he's standing up in the clean and then also in particular when he's jerking. The bar will be tilting to his left as he recovers from the clean. And watch how his hands are way off center when he gets set for the jerk. Let's see it from this angle, but if you see it from the front, you'll notice it. And the bar should be, okay, here it is. Look at the hands. Look where his left hand is compared to his right hand, the snatch mark. And boy, his heart didn't even look like it was in that. I wonder if that leg's really bothering him. Get set, the deep breath. Yeah, I didn't even try to drive under it. Yeah, you might have spotted an injury earlier on that's really bothering him. The dip for the jerk is a very plyometric move. In fact, it's a place where you can really get injured, suddenly pop connective tissue, and he might know that. Yeah, that's Dr. Carmelo Ciotta from Italy, who's the doctor on duty. Although sometimes it might be interesting to read the doctor's report as to those who get an injury and are effectively ruled out of the competition, and those who seem to have an injury but are found not to be unwell at all. Yeah, yeah. Squat jerk coming up, which is going to be particularly interesting with this guy. Always really much more dramatic. So the newcomer, the Albanian, got 1 out of 3, 153 down in 8th place.
Fort. Zo spät. Zo.
Took some effort, that.
Did, yes. Oh, man, that could have been just brutal. Do you see his right foot when he went back for the split, the jerk? Turns it over completely, and I'm glad he dumped that. I think this guy might have had really tremendous sprained ankle otherwise. Watch his right foot when he splits for the jerk. If we'll see this in slow motion, turns over completely on the ankle. Right foot, watch it, it's gonna go back and turn in. Oh, well, trust me, it did.
It's interesting, I was watching the first half. Pedro has now taken over as the technical controller. He's the man you'll see in the entranceway. Yeah. First half it was Shimon Barak.
Oh, he couldn't take anymore, huh?
Well, he actually looks as if he was guarding a nightclub.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't get in.
Right, well, Hitsan from Albania has got to have a go at this again, 187. And just to reiterate, none of the big guns have changed their openers. 200 for Liu, 200 for Martirosyan, 201 for Sue.
Yoxi's out now, too.
And, yeah, well spotted news coming back there that Yaki has decided to call it a day. So 2 with no total, another 2 who didn't fancy it. We started with 12, we're down to 8. Could be time for tea after this.
Well, he went for that, you know, unlike the last attempt. But a 3 red light miss. In other words, complete miss.
Well, he's going to have to follow himself again because nobody else wants 187.
I think he's trying to lift the lead, and the coach is saying, no way, get back there. See, look at this. I'm wondering if maybe people are just getting a little aggressive in these calls, you know, for these weights, just wishful thinking.
Well, it doesn't do your chances much good of contributing to the team effort to get points to earn places for the Olympic Games. Because if you don't get a total, you won't get any points because you won't have a ranking.
Yeah, you know, sometimes people can just hope for a miracle, you know, and that's what they're thinking about. But I think it was Eddie Merckx once said, there are no miracles in sport. You know, you got to be strong enough or fast enough or whatever. Every now and then you might get a little helping hand, but you're not going to just keep pulling rabbits out of a hat. And that might be what we're seeing at these World Championships, David. Maybe coaches hoping that lifters can lift more than they have, hoping injuries aren't going to be holding the lifters back. It's not working.
Right, what Heeson's done is put it up to 188. That brings in Shramiak, who's having his second attempt. Of course, for Heeson, it'll be his third. It buys him a bit of time for the coaches to get him together. So this is Shramiak, 184, and a 4-kilo increase. Up into 6th place overall at the moment. This would take him up into silver overall and bronze in the clean and jerk rankings.
Well, this is the same sort of pattern, I think, that he had on his snatches, right? Made his opener, missed his second attempt, missed his third attempt. I don't want to predict that that's what's going to fall here, but made his opening clean and jerk, misses the second, comes off the floor very slowly off the bottom, just says, hey, I can't stand up with this.
By the way, my sources tell me that you've been looking for a bit of a miracle, haven't you?
Your sources?
Yeah, you've been looking for a bit of a miracle yourself.
Yeah, no, of what kind are we speaking of? You're getting my interest. Yeah, your sources are pretty good. Was the last night you had the predicted weight down to 1 kilo?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Backroom research.
Yeah, was it MI5? Is that what it is, or?
No, it's just a cool stroll around the warm-up room too.
Cool stroll, yeah.
Yeah. Right, let's hope he makes it. He's only 18 years of age. Don't want him to go home without a total, so let's get on his side here and hope that he can pick this up. Got to get really under that bar. Got to be aggressive. Petrol running out. Well, he's given it a good shot. I'm not sure about the left arm, Randy.
You know, it's interesting because I was watching his feet because, you know, that right foot caught my eye earlier. Well, good call, David. He gets it, but only 2-1.
Yeah, and it's the left referee who would be looking at that left arm.
Yeah, I'll watch this now in slow motion because I was watching the right foot.
It's in the early part of the jerk.
Working to stand up because he was hard for him. Let's watch this arm that David spots, straightens out, yeah, it unlocks and straightens out, yeah.
So for me, the jury should step in and sadly say no lift, but maybe they're going to be charitable and give him his total. Interesting though, you know, what was that statement? You're not there as the jury or the referee to interpret the rules, you're there to enforce the rules.
All right, what's going on here?
Has been called. There's 189 kilos, so we stopped the clock. Yes.
Is that the Albanian who just left here?
The 189 kilos.
I'm curious.
Yeah, he's really melted. He's really got quite a meltdown. I wonder what the deal is. Maybe because, you know, did not perform at the level that he wanted to. And the coaches are consoling him. Some coaches would be smacking him.
I'll tell you what, something very interesting. He entered a total of 360 and he made 341. He was very close to the 20-kilo rule where he would have been disqualified.
Yeah, and maybe that's what he knows.
But he wasn't disqualified.
No, but I mean that it was that close. He was really on a tightrope.
But hey, he got a total despite what I think was a press out because he had the guts to go for it. Oh, Shramiak trying to use the bounce there.
Yeah, barely paused to get set up. I mean, I think, frankly, he kind of rushed that. It looks like, you know, he's kind of like, okay, I'm done. That was not a good night.
Very much a journeyman lifter. He's never hit the heights. He gets in there. He serves Poland well, but, you know, in terms of getting points for the team, yes. In terms of winning championship medals, really, no.
He's really quite muscular. When you see him in person, you'd think he'd lift more than he does.
Yeah, when you look at Shramiak, he's finished there on 337. He got a silver medal in the Europeans, not this year, but last year with 351. 337 to 350, that's a huge gap. That's a real big deterioration.
Big attempt from Martirosyan. He would like to really knock this thing out of the park and kind of assert himself.
10 kilos down on his opener, Randy.
Yeah, being conservative.
Very. Power jerk.
Yeah, now I said it would be good if he had a really assertive opener. He had it there. Now, I hadn't noticed he had come down 10 kilos. That telegraphs one thing, but he had a commanding presence on that lift. He power jerks it. It's sort of like, hey, look at this. This is nothing. He needs to make a statement here that he's here to lift big weights. Watch this, strong clean, watch the power jerk, drive the bar up, go down to about a quarter squat position, just sticks that.
Looking for 200 though, he's got to get to 200 if he wants to keep in this race. So Martirosyan, 356, and to put that in relation, he's now 14 kilos short of his entered total with 2 attempts to come. At the other end of the scale, here is Keremai, only got 1 out of 3 in the snatch phase. He's got 1 good attempt on 186 here. And 2 out of 6, the stats are horrible. You can't win medals. You certainly can't win championships with that sort of performance. And that's a really, well, it's an evening to forget, quite honestly. Come out to fight another day, because you could see how far he never got under the bar. Now, the Egyptian, Ibrahim Ramadan, 150. Had a good go at the 2 snatch attempts at 155, didn't come off, but opening up here on 191. Realistically, has to think of clean and jerk medals if he wants to be on the podium. Good enough to secure his total. And Ramadan better than he did last year in the clean and jerk in Antalya, when he was 2 kilos short of where he is now, so a little bit more encouraging. Goes up into overall 4th place with 341, but again that leaves him 19 kilos off his entered total of 360. And again, just to reiterate that you must finish inside 20 kilos of your entered total. If you don't do that, even if you get a total and you're outside 20 kilos, you will be disqualified and your performances will not count and you will not be ranked. And 1 or 2 too close to that line. But to be fair to Ramadan, he does have 2 more attempts to come. Now the bar sitting on 195 at the moment, and it could well be Ramadan coming out. I think it will be, because Su Dayun of China is not going to come out till the bar gets to 201. 197 is what the Olympic champion Sa Yae-hook wants as his opener, and Liu of China looking for 200 like Martirosyan is on his 2nd attempt. So 4 kilos more here for this 2nd effort, but 191, that equaled his personal best. This is new territory. Struggles to clean. He's unlucky in a way that he hasn't got anybody who wants this weight to give him a little bit more respite and preparation time. So he's going to have to come out yet again within 2 minutes to have another go. And it's this lift which really uses up the energy. So we should go 197 for the Olympic champion, and then we start hitting the 200s. And body weight could yet come into play. The man who has the advantage in terms of kilos on the board and body weight, Liu, the 2009 champion. Not home yet, but looking pretty well placed to regain that title. Well into his warm-up now.
6 quotas, ce qui est le maximum offert aux 6 meilleures nations des 2 derniers championnats du monde.
So he's taken all that he thinks he needs. 45 seconds still to go. So at this moment, this would take him to 3:46. But 19 kilos at this moment off his enter total. Not where you want to be. Well recovered. And that whizzes him up into second place overall. And what with all the retirements, the failures, the withdrawals and everything else, there are really only now 4 men left in the competition. So last year, this man was ranked 7th in the world. Mathematically, can't be worse than 6th now. But leads the clean and jerk, so he has that consolation. And Ja Jin 197 to start his campaign here in the second half of the competition. Well, he's a fighter, and this is where we expect him to show his best form, and don't rule out a third attempt, which could be really extravagant to go for a clean and jerk or even a total medal.
There could be a change in the movement. 200 kilos, please.
200 kilos goes on the bar. And it's going to be the first lift of Liu, the man who has the lead. Currently, Martirosyan in the overall lead. He's also posted 200 for his second attempt. Su, the other Chinese lifter, posted 201 for his starter. He's obviously still to come. Incidentally, the clean and jerk world record, it's one of those extraordinary achievements, dates back to Trenchin in the Slovak Republic, 2001. 210 kilos. Oleg Perepechenov of Russia. Power jerk. Very confident. Had to wait for the down signal there. 2-1 against. So, right-hand referee looking at press outs, particularly from his angle, would be on Liu's right arm. Now, so far, the jury fairly motionless, not anybody making a move at the moment. Let's have a look at that right arm. Well, 2-1, he gets it. And Liu leads with a total of 370, right on his entered total. And now Martirosyan to take a 10-kilo increase here. Now, this would take him to 366 and would restore him to a 4-kilo deficit, the situation at the half-time interval. The defending champion badly needs this. It's a weight he regularly achieves, but is he absolutely in tip-top condition? Great clean. Very economical. Power jet. Oh! Oh, technical mistake. Strong enough, but the bar went forward. His hips went back, and he lost that. He had it, and he lost it. Well, the championship might just have ebbed away there for him because of what he's got to do, which is to come out again and try 200. But the problem is, it'll be his third attempt, and even if he does that, he can't catch Liu. He does have the option to go for broke. He's in second place overall, so arguably he shouldn't go down to fourth place, but suddenly the Olympic champion becomes a danger to Martirosyan. So we've waited a long time for this to really unfold into a nip-and-tuck competition, with the chess pieces being moved around backstage by the coaches of the respective men. And now Ja Jin. Now this is very interesting, because in the Asian Games last year in Guangzhou and the World Championships in Antalya, it was in this phase, the clean and jerk, that he ran into problems. 190 in the Asian Games, didn't get any of them. 197 in the World Championships, didn't get any of those either. So a year on. 3 power jerks. Ja Jin, who started, of course, 4 kilos behind his teammate Liu, has now reduced that to 3. But he still has a body weight disadvantage over his Chinese teammate. So Ja Jin moves up into second place overall. Pushes Martirosyan down to third. In fourth is Yahuk. Still leading is Liu, and the bar at 202. Martirosyan, by the way, has put the bar up to 202, and he's going for broke. And Martirosyan tactics here will be to try and get an overall medal, and he's keeping an eye on the Korean. Korean has posted 205. Now this 202, this would take him 12 kilos up to 368. And that would take him largely away from the Korean. But the Korean does have 2 attempts left. But this is where you witness the poker game. They've put all the chips in the center of the table on this lift, the Armenian camp. Well, woe for the defending champion. He has a bronze medal in the snatch phase. He has no medal in the clean and jerk. He is clinging on to the bronze medal overall, but he is vulnerable now to the Korean, who is only 2 kilos behind him. You can just see how deep and behind he was there. There's no way to actually save this. And this is not the world champion of last year. But now spirits are high for Jahuk, Japan. 203 kilos. But he, on our board, we had him posted at 205, so that... So 203, this is a 6 kilo increase. This will take him to 260. At this particular moment in time, it's all about moving himself up from 4th into the overall 3rd medal position. He would, of course, with this, go into the lead in the clean and jerk as well. So this is the sort of storming finish we've seen before from the Korean. First the medal, then one more attempt to go for glory. doesn't mess around. Straight over the head. Well, 2-1, which means that the right arm predominantly is the arm in question there. Interesting to see this on the slow motion. Now, let's have a look at that right arm as he puts it. Very marginal, but he's got the majority vote there, 2-1. That's all that matters. So the bar going to 205 kilos. We're not going for Perepetchenov's world record, that's for sure. Although I say that, I'm just thinking about the Korean. The Korean is noted for going for extravagant last lifts to pull it out of the fire. And he might just have a pop at the world clean and jerk record, which has stood now for 10 years. It's one of the longest records. So the leader at halfway, the current leader. Power jerk to take him to 375 kilos. And Liu is now just 3 kilos short of the total he amassed in 2009 in Goyang, and he looks relaxed, he looks confident, he looks ready to take on all comers. So the Olympic champion, the Korean, letting the Chinese have the stage at the moment and just waiting to use that one lift extravagantly to see where he can take himself to. Now 206 kilos here. It's a 5 kilo increase, which will take him to 372. And will narrow the gap to his teammate to 3 kilos. But he is heavier as well, but this would be great if he can get this. Gets deep, but he's got terrific strength there, drives up, and he's on fire. No question about that. 367 kilos. Now becomes 372. And he goes into silver medal position. Gold to Liu of China at the moment. Su in silver. Tsai Ye-hook of Korea in bronze. Martirosyan, nothing, only fourth. The Armenians, who've so far had a very disappointing championship. Meline Delusian last evening just not able to compete at all in the women's competition. In the women's 69, just had 3 failures in the snatch phase, just went out of the competition. The heart just drained out of her. And it's a world record attempt. 10 long years. I said that the Korean often goes for extravagant lifts. Well, this would be some lift. This is 8 kilos up on his successful second attempt. And this is all about going for the clean and jerk goal, but taking the clean and jerk world record as well. Oleg Perepetchenov of Russia, the man who lifted 210 in the European Championships in the Slovak Republic in 2001. Many have tried, none have succeeded. Can this man finally do it? He has to take a kilo more than Perepetchenov's 2:10 to actually create and break the record. You're not allowed to equal it. That does not count. So to lead in the clean and jerk, to enhance his third place in the overall championship, but to get the world record. 20 seconds. Fantastic. Better clean than the second time. Oh. Well, it's a brave attempt. But he's not alone at having a go, because the two Chinese lifters are going to have a go as well. He was the first of three. Good clean. But the strength's just not there on this day. But the Olympic champion has come up from 5th at halfway to take the overall bronze. And now Liu, 375 kilos. He's 3 kilos ahead of his colleague. This is a 6 kilo lift. 6 kilo increase to take him to 381 kilos. Nobody in the World Championships or in the Olympic Games has ever lifted this amount in this weight category. Can he do it? Oh. So he leads, but it's down to the very last lift and his own teammate, Ja Jin. Ironically, the man who at the last 2 major competitions has failed. Gets very deep. Well, this will be something. It's a 4 kilo increase, which would take him to 376. 1 kilo better than Liu of China, his teammate. He needs the extra kilo because he is the heavier man. So, this for the Championship of the World, this for the world record, and this for the man who's never won the world title, to deny his own teammate who won it in 2009. The third and final lift for this man, the last lift in the competition. He can't stand, and Liu Xiaoyuan regains the world title, and Oleg Perepetchenov's clean and jerk record stands for at least another year. 210 kilos. Well, I say for another year, well, for another series of attempts, which will come up in most likely the Olympic Games. But at the end of what turned out to be fascinating at the end, Liu Xiaoyuan, with 375 kilos, wins the title. The silver medalist is teammate Ja Jin with 372. In the bronze medal, 360, Sa Yai Hook, and he represents, of course, Korea, and the former champion, the champion of last year in Antalya. A disappointing day for Tikka Dan Martirosyan, only 356 kilos. Completing the top 5, the Egyptian Ibrahim Ramadan on 345. And a lot of failures and withdrawals. As you see, the clean and jerk results there. A really good climax to this competition. And Randy, fantastic finale.
Yeah, although, you know, I came out of the snatches saying even though they were misses, they were dramatic. I would say, you know, having 3 world record attempts was dramatic. The last miss, I don't know, wasn't that exciting. The first 2.
Yeah, I know. And still Perepetrenov's record stands.
Oleg must just be grinning, you know, wherever he is in Russia right now, grinning, you know, having set that. But interesting, we saw 2 missed jerks and missed clean. We saw a missed squat jerk. We saw a missed split jerk.
Yeah, and 1 or 2 controversial decisions there as well. But at the end of the day, China have got 1-2, so a few more smiles from them. This is the situation at the end of the championship. Liu Xiaoyuan regains the title that he won in Goyang. Su Jiayun puts away the nightmares of missing all those clean and jerks in major championships last year. And Sa, the Korean, comes with that extravagant late run, which he's noted for, and pulls himself up into overall 3rd. And a really disappointing day at the office for the world champion of 2010, Tikka Dan Martirosyan. Not a bad performance there by the Egyptian there. He's a long way off the lead, but he 3:45, not too bad. And the man from the B group, Rasma Martin for Romania, finishing in 6th place. Well, Randy, it was sort of a bit of a roller coaster there. Competition's very definitely of 2 parts.
Yeah.
Look at all those people who didn't make it at the end of the day. The European champion, Yagi, Dudoglu, Kamba, and Balul. We're going to take a little break. Back for the medals after this. Well, this competition over a little quicker than we anticipated, Randy, due to the number of people who fell by the wayside one way or another. And have a look at this. Not often you see 3 attempts at a world record and they all go down.
Right, and all in different ways. So that was what, his first attempt or second attempt?
That'd be second attempt, second attempt, which ultimately proved to be good enough. Su,
his second?
Yeah, 2:06. This was his second attempt, which secured him ultimately the silver medal. I mean, they actually, he got the tactics absolutely right. I mean, he just needed the world record. Or I say just needed the world record, but that would have been, for any of the 3, it would have been a great way to round it off.
We had to work to stand up with that. These squat jerkers, you know, this